Welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be showing you how to service the front transfer case on the 2014 Chevrolet Equinox all-wheel drive. So this process will be very similar for the Equinox, also the GMC Terrain, in anything from around 2012 to 2018. So if you have one of those vehicles and you want to do this service, stay tuned. So we recently already done the rear differential, so we're going to move forward and do our transfer case. Process is very similar with a lot of vehicles when it comes to servicing differentials and transfer cases. What you're going to need is some 75/90 gear oil, as well as a T10 and 3/8 ratchet. Also a torque wrench if you have it, but if you don't own a torque wrench, you can get away with just using the 3/8 ratchet. So I'll show you roughly the amount of tightness that you need compared to using it with a torque wrench. So what we've done is lifted the vehicle up front to rear evenly, so when we drain out the fluid, we know we're putting in the proper amount, because this system is a fill to full system. So we're going to empty it out completely, and then you're just going to refill it until it runs out. So let's jump underneath, and I'm going to show you where your transfer case is and also where the drain and fill plug is. So if you're looking underneath the middle of the vehicle, you're going to follow your drive line to this front component here, and this is your drain plug, and the plug here on the left is the fill plug. So these ones are pretty accessible, which is nice. So let's grab our tools, and we're going to get a catch pan and get all the fluid drained. So when doing these services, you always want to make sure you're starting with your fill plug, because if you are to release the drain plug first, empty the system, and you cannot get the fill plug to come out, you're in a pretty tough situation then, not being able to refill the system. So let's pop open the fill, and then we'll move to the drain. So if you watched my other video for the rear differential, I had a very similar problem where I wasn't able to get my T10 in the fill because there's just a little bit too much buildup. So we're going to use a 3/8 for the fill, and then the T10 does fit into the drain, so we know we won't have any issues with that. So once we get this plug out completely, what we're going to do is clean up where the T10 actually mounts. So let's pop this out here. So we've got that out. This is a magnetic plug, so there's not much buildup on here, which is nice. So we're now ready with our T10 to crack the drain plug. So we're just going to let that sit and drain for a few minutes, and then we'll get the plug set up to go back in. So the fluid coming out of this is actually pretty clean, which is nice to see. So again, I've had this vehicle a couple of years, so I don't know actually when this would have been serviced previously. So I figured I'm at the kilometers where I should be servicing this stuff. So someone may have serviced it before, and on the bottom of the plug there wasn't really much metal shavings, which is nice to see. So it looks like the bulk of the system is drained now, so we're just going to reinsert the drain plug, and then we're going to torque it down to 29 foot-pounds. So that is tight there. So let's switch over to our torque wrench, which is already preset for us to 29 foot-pounds. So the drain plug is in the torque. We're using the 7590 gear oil, and we're using the Valvoline fill bags, which make this process super easy. So I have about a quarter of a bag left from the rear end. So we're just going to drop that in, use up what we have here, and then switch over to the full bag. So this system takes about a bag and a half, so about a quart and a half. So that one's empty. We're switched to our full bag now. And that there looks like we're now full. So we're just going to let this excess drain out here. So now that the bulk of the runout has finished, we're going to reinstall our fill plug here. And we're now going to torque down the fill plug. And we're just going to use some brake clean here to clean off any of the excess fluid that came out. So I went and rechecked the manufacturer specs because I thought the front was about 1.5 quarts, but it actually is only 1.06, where the rear diff is about half a quart. So if you pick up two bags, so 2 quart bags of gear fluid, you'll have enough to do your front and rear service at the same time. So because we've already completed our rear and we're done up here in the front, we're going to clean up, dispose of our fluid, and that is how easy it is to service your front transfer case on your 2014 Equinox or Terrain in the year range between around 2012 to 2018. So, and just like that, we've now easily serviced our front transfer case on the 2014 Equinox. So if you have any questions about this service, leave me a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.